Today's video is going to be on potatoes, potato planting, the prep for it, and then of course how we plant it. And so this right here, that's what it's all about. As you can see on this potato, and this is one from the store, which, you know, for eating, but you can see there, and I'm trying to focus in on it. Whoop, that's not focusing. There you go. Okay, that's an eye, we call it a potato eye, and each one of those throughout the potato will shoot a new plant. And so then if you cut them up, those chunks, and plant them, you'll get the potatoes. This is my son Bowen. He's my oldest boy. He's going to show you what we did last night with our potatoes. Okay? Bowen, why don't you tell him what we did?
Well, we found where the potato eye was, and then we cut a little bit below it. And so there's some of these big ones, and then there's just small.
Just like it. Yep.
They're just small pieces.
What do we do once we cut them up and put them on the table?
We set them upside down
And why did we do that?
to help them dry.
Yep. You can see here, these are white potatoes. I want to say russet were they? And these are our red potatoes. Okay, and we did all this last night. Allowed them to dry throughout the day. And we did last night, what, about 10 o'clock, Bowen?
Yeah, about 10.
And then it's now 7:15, and so we're getting ready to go out and put them in the ground, give them close to a full day worth of drying. You can go a little bit longer if you want to. Normally we plant on Good Friday. That's kind of the old wives' tale, and I usually stick pretty close to that, but we saw weather was coming, and so we went ahead and decided to wait a week or so to get some better weather. So we're going to stop here, and then we'll show you outside as we're working on the potato hills. This is our garden space, one of them anyways. We have two. The other one is for like watermelon and warmer plant food, or warmer environment, or warmer time frame foods, and our sweet corn and stuff. And so I'll show you that when we start. We're actually doing some work on it. But this one we've already started a little bit before we decided to do this video channel. You can see here some of these greens. This is our seed potatoes, or seed onions, excuse me. And these were started last year, or they grew last year, and we kept them throughout the winter. And when they grow like this throughout the winter, they're not bad. Then you can actually plant them, and they'll turn to seed better, and you can harvest a seed. Okay, and if you look here, I know they're small, but you can see that next row there. That is actually our garlic, and you can see it starting to pop through. And then it's harder to see, but we got full rows of onions. As we go through, be careful, Keenan.
Dad,
What?
that one got out.
Oh man, that's my little one, Keenan. He's very helpful. Over here, you can kind of see that first row there by the fence is our peas. We just did a little row of peas because we mostly, with peas, we just like to snack on them. And then we have a row, it's real small coming up, it's spinach and lettuce. And then we have a row of turnips. First year I've done turnips. Normally I just do kohlrabi, but decided to try turnips. So that's what I have planted so far. I planted it shortly before the freeze. And so luckily it hadn't come up yet, and so it didn't really hurt it. Okay, so this is going to be our space for our potatoes. Down at that very far end, my brother and his family, they're going to take a little space and plant some garden this year too. And so, but our space up in here is where we're going to have our potatoes. So we'll kind of show you what we do there.
We're ready to plant potatoes.
There's your head. Okay. So
what?
we're going to show you what we do with hilling our our potatoes, and then how we plant them and the distance apart and stuff like that. So first thing we do is you can see how it's tilled up already. I had my friend Carl Eichhoff from church. He came out and tilled it up for me because my tiller broke a couple years back, and I just haven't got a new one yet. So he does a great job for me here. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is you need to make a hill. About right here. You can use a rake, use a hoe, and when we get going, Bowen will use the hoe. You want to make a fairly decent hill. Now the reason we hill these is because it allows the potatoes to grow in ground that's not packed, so they get larger. Okay, and so that helps a lot. And then it's easier also when we come to harvest them. Okay, so that's how we do it. Okay, Bowen, you start over here.
You want me to finish what
Yep, you keep going there. Okay, our first row is done now. And so what we're going to do then, I got my little puppy Keenan here. He's digging dirt. Anyways, we're going to come, we're going to dig little holes, and then we'll show you, of course, the planting of it. Okay?
Can we get the sticks out too? Pretty, please. What?
No, we got to leave it in, buddy. That's where our plants are. I know. Okay, now we've made our holes.
We have.
So, as you can see, hopefully see this. I know it's a little bit in the evening here, but we have them about this far apart. So we plant about that far apart, and that way they have enough room to fill out their potatoes. But we don't want to waste too much room because we want to fill our garden up as much as possible. Okay? So now we'll show you how we're going to plant these, and then we'll cover them up. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to plant our potatoes. We bagged them up from the house. And then we're going to take one of each of these and put them in these holes. And my boys here are going to help. I'll show you that. Toby, won't you turn that in, Toby? You start in the middle. You got to leave it. No. And what I'm doing is we're planting them with the eye part that's going to grow facing up. So that way it can shoot up out of the ground. Another reason, no, Toby, put them in right, don't just throw them. What?
How am I supposed to do this one?
Put it down.
Just have the eye up.
Eye up. So one of the big reasons that we cut them in advance like that is because now, once you cut them, you're going to feel this wet and soft. Well, after about a day's worth of drying, then it builds up a skin here, and that protects the potato as the sprout is coming out. Okay, sometimes, I don't know if you could see, but when they're really, really small eyes, sometimes if we have enough, we'll just go ahead and plant a couple. Okay, so put one in each hole, or sometimes two in each hole, and then you want to make sure the eyes are face up, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just cover them and lightly pat them down. Okay, so that's our first potato hill of many here. We're going to go ahead and we'll do a bunch more here, and then I'll talk some more. When we plant them, though, we only plant them maybe 3 inches deep. That's plenty, more than enough, because then they're going to grow out and fill this with potatoes. And then, of course, we want to make sure we keep the ground around it covered. Throughout the year, and we use grass clippings, and because what that does is it shades. Sometimes your potatoes will come out the sides. It shades those, otherwise they turn green, and then you can't eat them. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do some more of these hills, and we'll be right back. Okay, and potatoes are done. We have 4. They're finishing. The boys are finishing up the last row here. We got 4 rows of red and 4 rows of white, and we got a little bit of space left over here for me to plant something else here. So, anyways, hopefully this part of the video is helpful. Another thing I wanted to say. In our garden here in the ground, and it's hard to see obviously now, but we do chicken poop manure from our chickens, which are back there. We cover it with that. We put rabbit poop on. We put ashes from our wood burning stove. We do like peels and eggs and coffee grounds and everything else from the house. I don't suggest too much like fruit type stuff, just because that can attract bugs and you don't want those in your garden. But like orange peels and stuff like that we'll do. Apple cores and stuff like that we'll do in a compost, but not in the garden. So This is our potatoes. This is how we do it. Like I said, hopefully this is helpful. If you have any comments, or tell me how you guys do it, because everybody does it just a little bit different. And we'll of course have some more videos coming up. Thanks for watching.